Good evening, race fans, and welcome to New Smyrna Speedway on Wednesday night here. Freaky Fast Broadcasting. This is Carl Pooler up in the booth with Zach Hall and, as always, Robert Moyer Jr. Here we are, the penultimate race of this season, the last round of the playoffs to get into the championship final next week in Richmond. Zach, we have a lot of racing, and this is going to be a fun half mile to do it on.
Very fun half mile, definitely, Carl. So we're gonna have a fun time here. First ever New Smyrna Speedway race here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting. I myself never have called a race here, so we're gonna be learning along with the fans here tonight as we watch these guys do battle. About 13 drivers here have took time as we got about 3 minutes left here in this qualifying session, and at the moment, Kurt Batty sitting atop that board. So great job of him. That may be one of his first pole positions of the season here, and that's a great way to do it in the playoffs.
And that Kurt Batty in the number 29, he's been one of those drivers that we've seen flashes of speed. He can creep into that top five positions. We've seen him on and off, and he just can't get a whole race together, but maybe track position will serve him better, and maybe he can get maybe a little bit ahead of one of our faster competitors in Mario Ercolani. And with that, it looks like we are wrapping up practice session as we speak. So Kurt Batty actually out qualifying Mario Ercolani here at New Smyrna, and following that we have Peyton Hill in the third position. So that's going to be fun. We've seen Peyton Hill. We've talked to Peyton Hill a couple times as he's finished in that top two position, but he just can't quite get the speed to make the pass on Mario Ercolani. Jonathan Dickerman in fourth, and Ronald Cole in ninth. So Zach, our top five, a lot of drivers we've been talking about all season long. This is going to be a really exciting night of racing here, clear skies, and the lights are on here, so this is going to be a fun race tonight.
That it will be, as that qualifying session, like you said, did come to an end. We're going to pop that Freaky Fast grid up there. It's going to be Kurt Batty starting on the pole position there, as you said, beating Mario Ercolani. Third's going to go to Peyton Hill, the man who's been trying to break through to get to victory lane. Fourth's going to go to Jonathan Dickerman. Fifth's going to be Ronald Cole, the Nine Machine. Sixth is going to be Frank Barbary. Seventh's going to go to John Piette. Eighth's going to be Alex Marinelli. Ninth's going to be the 58 of Johnny Hurst. 10th's going to be Justin Hamlin. And our last three drivers on the field, Cooper Bouchard, Brad Hoggett, and Brian Treadwell here, rounding our 13 cars here, taking time in New Smyrna.
And as these guys roll out onto the track, we know that the pace car lights are off, and already we are going green here at New Smyrna Speedway, just under half mile here, with a great look of just about all the cars. You can see a decent field tonight with a lot of cars showing up, getting ready for the championship race at Richmond next week. Same time, same place, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to go around one more time just to get these tires warmed up, all these engines warmed up. Zach, there's a lot of side-by-side racing. This track looks extremely narrow with that infield. I'm a little worried about it for our drivers.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how this track plays out, man. Looking at it, looks very, very interesting, the way the banking is and the way the groove is. I want to see if that outer groove can work, but we'll see which ways to go as the pace car pulls in.
Pace car pulls in. The 29 has the field in tow, and there's the green flag. A launch by Kurt Batty. 41 got same, if not better, line and launch off of that start, but Kurt Batty taking the inside line there. We see him take the line and cut off the 41. Oh, it's the 41 loses it, get loose into turn 3, and this will pile them up. That's the 48 of Peyton Hill. So we have a caution, lap 1 here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Yeah, that's also going to catch up Alex Marinelli there, I believe, in the 54 machine. It's really going to help Brian Treadwell, who actually wrecked in turn 1. So the 6 wrecks there in 1, and then we go down there in the 41. Seems like he just lost the race car there. That's going to be the first caution of the night, Carl, and that's really going to bring an early start to our night here to yellows.
Yeah, we pull up the freaky fast instant replay here, watching the 41 kind of gets the line shuts and the closed door on him by the 29 goes into here turn 3 and he just seems to lose it, and unfortunately the 48 with nowhere to go kind of collects them there, and we see the 58 of Johnny Hurst getting through there. That's the 19 having issues stopping, so that was a decent sized wreck early on in this race. So a lot of our favorites already with damage tonight. We're going to see how these drivers are going to be able to handle that, and that's especially in terms of the 48. That looked pretty heavy.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy there for him for sure, and we'll have to see how he rebounds from that there hit. But you do have one fast repair, so we'll see if he saves it, uses it now. That'll be a good question for him to ask himself. But I gotta say this is gonna be fun to watch, and looking at back there a little bit myself, it could have possibly came down to a little bit of not only the cold tires, that is a huge factor there. But Mario Arcolani is diving into that corner there with Batty right in front of him. He may have thought he was gonna go into the corner a little bit too deep, maybe jabbed a little bit too much brake. That sometimes can transfer that weight to the front end of that race car, really making that rear end light on entry, and that's where we've seen that rear end go around. And maybe that's the case, or just maybe a little bit of cold tires. So we'll have to watch that here on this next restart, because tires only got colder here from these caution laps.
Oh, definitely, Zach. And these haven't had a chance to warm up unless, maybe weaving back and forth, dragging the brake a little bit to transfer that heat from the rotors to the tire. But it's hard to say. You don't want to use your brake too much, as we saw there maybe in the matters of the 41. But here we are, pace car on pit road, and we are green. And that's a much better restart for the 29 of Kurt Batty, with the 9 of Ronald Cole taking that outside line. He's kind of dove really onto that corner. There he goes with the momentum around the 29. Powerful move around the outside of the former leader, the 29 of Kurt Batty. And here we go, Ronald Cole already looking to stretch his lead as we have a caution with another spin out here at turn 4. So a lot of these drivers struggling the handle on this track tonight.
That they are, Carl. I'll tell you what, this is looking at this situation here. It's the 7 of Cooper Bouchard, who's the first driver to go around. And I'm kind of seeing a little bit of that same situation with the 41 that we've seen. Into 3, hard on the brake, rear end steps out. I mean, we had 2 cars doing that there on that wreck, and it really caused a little bit of a log jam there for a while as that second caution comes out very quickly as Cole, using the power of the outside there, powers to the lead. And that's just showing right here. New Smyrna's got a little bit of an outside groove here. So we'll have to see how that works all throughout the night, and if that line improves, or does the bottom get better as we go to also.
And that was just a power move by the 9, taking that momentum and kind of shutting down the exit, really, of Kurt Batty. Kurt Batty couldn't widen out that corner, use the entire track like he wanted to. So he might have had to get out of the throttle just a little bit not to collect the 9. But he lives to fight another day, and he has another restart ahead of him. And he's in a good position, second place. But we know Ronald Cole is pretty quick, especially on maybe not the big middle of the run, but closer to the beginning of the run, I would say, in that transition. As a long run goes on, he tends to fall back, but Ronald Cole is definitely a favorite on this restart.
Yeah, that has been a little bit of his weakness this season, Carl. Definitely. I think I agree with you completely with that. It seems like he's able to get out front early, lead some laps, and then that 9 does seem to fade. We have seen times this season where he has been stronger in the long run. So I think it's one of those cases where it's just how he manages it and what he wants to do with the tires he has available. And these Hoosier tires on these race cars very, very different than the Goodyear ones we have on the other stock car side of the racing spectrum with NASCAR and iRacing. So definitely a huge change up here. These tires seem to very even out much, and we're going to go back green flag racing again.
Definitely green flag racing as the pace car dives down. Ronald Cole launches out of turn 4, gets up and arches into turn 1 in front of Kurt Batty, and already looks to pull away going out of turn 2 here in the early runnings at New Smyrna Speedway. Lap 11 going into turn 3, coming out of turn 4. Saw the leader, but here's the battle for second. Kurt Batty, 13 of Jonathan Dickerman, and the 5 of John Piette. John Piette is a name we haven't mentioned in a while, but here with this battle, Frank Barbary, looks like he's going to trade some paint with the 51, but looks like the 41 of Ercolani in front of him. Cause of an earlier caution, definitely trying to take some of that track position back. But here we are running along the rear deck lid of Frank Barbary as we see Marinelli try and get to the bumper there and just can't quite make it, Zach.
Yeah, great look back here to the 54, and that 48 and 41 up ahead of these two here we're watching. They're definitely making big moves now as they've both gone by John Piette as soon as we now see that 5 getting overtaken by the 41 of Mario Ercolani on the back straightaway here at New Smyrna as they head off into 3. This has been kind of the danger zone, but as those tires start to warm up, I think that stability and the air pressures will come up and really help these drivers feel out this racetrack. As right now we're getting our first green flag laps of the night.
Our first green flag laps, and definitely fun to see Mario Ercolani down here in some dirty air, seeing him take on this field. But what strikes me is really interesting is in front of the 41 is the 41 or the 48 of Peyton Hill. Peyton Hill has been kind of in the shadow of Ercolani as of these past couple of weeks and is tired of that second place finish. And here he is recovering, trying to recover from an earlier incident. He's hoping to go from that second place to that first place, but he has a long night ahead of him.
Oh, definitely a long night ahead of him, Carl, for sure. He had a long night the last time we were here on Wednesday nights, and he battled Ercolani so hard there and just came up short once again, but now up ahead of Ercolani here in this 4th position. Like you said, those two trying to rebound. They got Dickerman, who's really been on the uproar late to the season. He's been a driver, I think, to watch out for here late into the playoffs.
Oh, definitely. John Dickerman has been in my opinion, one of the better improved racers of this season. He's been, I remember earlier on during the broadcast, mentioned him occasionally in the top 10, but he's had solid top 5 runs night in and night out, week after week. So good for him, good for the 13. But looking at the 29 of Kurt Batty in front of him taking the second place, he's actually kind of closed the gap on the 9 machine and looking to maybe try and put some decent laps. In fact, he was the fastest lap last time around, so Kurt Batty trying to make a run on the leader.
Yeah, Batty's had some great runs this season. We'll see if he can take advantage of what speed he has here tonight. And I looked back throughout the season, he had a very good chance at one point to win a race this season. Unfortunately, the pit strategy did not work out for him. Tonight, he's got the speed once again. Will he be able to put that pitch strategy together to put himself in the right situation when we come down to that checker flag? But right now, he's definitely got to like his spot sitting in the second position as those two look to build the gap back to the 13 and Jonathan Dickerman.
And you mentioned it, Zach, pit strategy. You don't think of these super late models as needing, stops for fuel, but we've seen it at Phoenix. We've seen it over and over again here in the Maple Ridge Racing Series. Fuel has become an issue at some of these larger tracks. We are running 100 laps here, and this, I guess, is only a half mile, but that's still 50 miles of racing. It will be close. I'd imagine it'll be close on some of the drivers' fingertips.
Yeah, it's going to be always interesting to see how the fuel works out because, that is one thing that we don't know the levels of is when you come into super late model racing, it's different from the other style racing we have here on iRacing. We're used to set gallons of fuel in a car. That's what it is. When you build the setup for these race cars, you actually set how much fuel you're putting in the car. So these cars could start from anywhere from a fuel tank to a half of a fuel tank to a quarter of a fuel tank. So we really don't know where they're at if fuel mileage wise. We're just got to pay attention all night long, see where they decide to come down the pit road. But I can tell you, if we get a long run here, they're definitely going to be questioning for tires more than possibly even fuel.
And tires we saw last week do come into play later on in the long runs here. But we watch here the 88 of Hoggett, Brad Hoggett there, being chased down by looks like 58 of Johnny Hurst. Johnny Hurst is a lap down, so he is really hoping for a caution and possibly getting that lucky dog scenario. But that is going to be interesting to stay on really at the tail end of this pack to keep that lead lap and hopefully and maybe just kind of hold out there for a caution and get that lap back.
we'll have to see how that works out. Is look at this battle shaping up here. The 58 of Hurst putting on the pressure here on the 88 of Brad Hoga. This is for the 8th and 9th position back here. These guys are about 5 to 6 seconds behind our leaders as they're doing battle here for this position. Is Hurst actually 1 lap down. So just sorry for that mistake there. But yeah, he's 1 lap down back in 12th. So this isn't a battle for position. This is more of a battle for track position.
Oh, talking about a battle for position, though, back in for the 3rd spot, the 13 of Dickerman, the 48 of Peyton Hill, and the 41 of Ercolani are nearly all under a blanket right now. Peyton Hill trying to take the position away from the 13. He's going to take the inside line here going into turn 1, and don't look, nope, that is the 41 of Mario Ercolani behind him. Both of these drivers are fast, started up towards the front of the field and are marching their way back after an early race incident.
This is so fun to watch. Look at this contact there made by the 41 and the 48. They're going to bounce off each other down the front straightaway here as they keep their cars straight. They head off in the 1 and 2 up ahead of them, though. Car up into the wall there. Unsure exactly who that is. What to see there is that is Justin Hamlin. Looks like he's going high, letting these guys go by as he goes down 1 lap. As this group goes by, Ercolani and Hill both by Dickerman, but these two, that battle is not over yet. As you can see, Ercolani trying to close it back down here to have a chance as they got about 2 seconds to the leaders ahead.
They are beating and banging their way to the lead at speed. And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to feel this beating and banging for yourself, you have to get yourself a ButtKicker. Every game deserves a truly immersive experience. The ButtKicker Gamer 2 lets you feel every detail. From ambient environmental effects, power of nearby explosions, rumble of race cars, you can feel it all. It works by moving a physical mass instead of air, so it provides instant, accurate, powerful base response. Go check them out, ButtKicker.com. Use the discount code FreakyFast20 for 20% off your order, and you definitely want to get one to feel the action here at New Smyrna. As we just watched the 41 of Ercolani make the pass on the 48 of Peyton Hill, and that just got to be killing the 48 inside. Knew and he had the 41 behind him, and he just couldn't keep him there.
Yeah, this is going to make me watch my leaderboard here and watch those lap times start to click off. I'm very, very interested to see what this 41 could do in this clean track now. As he's, like I said, about 2.5 seconds up to this group here. As Cole has now got the pressure from Batty. We'll see, can Ercolani close down and these two start to get into battle. Man, if we didn't have copyright on YouTube, we would cue the Jaw music because I think Ercolani is going to be coming in very soon here on these guys as they start to pick up their battle.
Mario Ercolani, Zach, and Kurt Batty are the 2 fastest cars on the track, and there is a caution. Looks like the 6th car around in turn 2. So here we are, lap 38. Had a lot of green flag run there recently, about a 25 lap green flag run, Zach. So all these guys, you mentioned the tires earlier, would now be too early here.
Yeah, this would be an interesting call. It's always the timing of the situation. The driver that gets it right is going to look so smart in those situations. This is a tough call, though. I mean, if I'm Ronald Cole, I'm thinking I come down here. I saw that 29 starting to close me down a little bit. Looks like he's going to elect to not come down. Look at this, though. Peyton Hill, he looks down the pit road, but no, not for him also. So nobody electing to do it. They're feeling good on their tires right now, Carl. They must know something we don't know. And even looking lap time-wise there, at the end of the run, 18 flats is what they're running, and our leader took off at about a 17:56. So, I mean, you're seeing about 4/10 of fall off there. So it's definitely a new tires advantage, but I think that quickly drops down as the tire heat begins to build up and those pressures come up also.
And as you saw there, ladies and gentlemen, tire is an issue, but there's the 58 of Johnny Hurst. Zach, you and I were just talking about him being a lap down, hoping to get that lucky dog, and look at that lucky dog there. So Johnny Hurst, one of those drivers we occasionally talk about. He can show some speed, but tends to get himself caught up in some incidents, and like that, maybe some little too much in the throttle on corner exit. These drivers have struggled with this car all night long.
Yeah, it's been a tough race here for a few of these guys out there who, look at the Treadwell there in the 6 who caused that latest caution. He's had 2 incidents down in 1 and 2 that it's been hard to hold for him, and just really seems like these cars, as those tires get warm, gets a little bit slick out there. It's tough to hold on to these race machines as everybody else doing as best they can to make these cars make it to the end of these 100 laps here, but now with this yellow, it's going to bring the field back together. I'm really interested to see what Hill, Eckerlani, Dickerman, all these guys right here in the third, fourth, and fifth position behind our top two up front can do, because, man, oh man, they were looking pretty good back there, but those top two were looking strong. Can Batty get to the lead here on the outside like Cole did to him also? That's going to be another question I think we need to ask ourselves.
Oh, this four-way battle between these four front runners. Geez, too much F's there. These guys are really fast, especially the closing laps of that run. And so these guys firing off, and it depends on if the 41 and 48 took tires either accidentally or intentionally when they had to pit to repair some of that damage. But this will be interesting to see these guys launch off, getting rid up one more time side by side. Zach, we are ready to go racing. It's going to be really fun to watch.
This is going to be it, folks, right here. Hope maybe you never know it. This race could go green all the way to the end here. That's how these races sometimes play out. In short track racing, it'll be gone in a blink of an eye, so don't step away nowhere as we're going to go green.
And there it is on board, looking back to the 41 at Ercolani. Ronald Cole shot out of a cannon into turn one, cutting up the line for 29 at Kurt Batty. Kurt Batty looking to try and keep that line, but he sees the 41 behind him as well. The 48 next to the 41 of Ercolani on that outside. You see that black, green, and yellow car. He gets wide and dives back down. It looks like the 41, possibly the greatest benefactor of that caution and that restart.
Yeah, the 41, like I said, I was really going to be interested to see what he could do on this restart. And right here looking at the 54, Marinelli, he's also been a beneficiary of this restart. He's up to the 6th position as Piet here under a little bit of threat as Barbary behind him in the 26 is starting to put some pressure on. You also got Johnny Hurst up to the 9th position directly behind him after getting that lucky dog position. He's got his way past Hogan. He's starting to drive up into the picture in the 58.
Oh, and look at that, the 26 is looking to put them up with the 5. He is trying really hard to make that pass, but can't quite get there. And we see just the 5 has a little bit better drive off there out of 2, and that will separate him from the 26. But up in front of him, see the 54 Marinelli get really wide there, kind of trying to make dominating the corner. And these guys pushing really hard with a decent gap in front of Marinelli.
Yeah, up to Dickerman, there's a little bit of a gap for sure. As you look back to Piet there in the 5, who's still trying to hold off that 26 machine right now. All single file throughout the field, but the driver putting on the most pressure other than this 26 of Barbary on the 5, that would be the 41 of Eckerlani. He's up there putting the pressure on Batty, as Batty had to cover him off a few times entering down into 1 now, and also just a little bit of off that bottom, giving that 41 a little bit of the nose. He wants his, he just had the death wiggle there down the front straightaway as he catches that thing and holds on to it here at New Smyrna. So right now, Ercolani pushing everything out of this car, trying to get up ahead of these two.
Ercolani is doing his most to get up there. Kurt Batty currently running the fastest lap so far, but now that full back to Jonathan Dickerman. They're in 5th place, and all these top 5 drivers are running very similar laps. It's almost as some of them are trying to save for maybe a later run. I don't know about that of the 41 as we see him get a little crooked there. It just looks like the exit turn 4 is really uncertain for that 41 machine with the 48 right behind him. These guys over the top 5, you could throw a blanket over. Ooh, with the 41 in the wall. Yeah,
into the wall. And what I'm seeing from Eckerlani is doing, he's taking a much straighter exit and really trying to get a good launch up off the corner. That is a little bit risky sometimes. You actually play a little bit on the edge of spinning those rear tires up when you get that much rotation into the front end of that race car. And he's doing a good job of getting it to rotate. Just don't want it to over-rotate, and sometimes even use a little bit of that apron there, that yellow line, to try to de-wedge that race car and help turn it there. So right now, looking good in the 41 is along with Peyton Hill there here in the 48. Once again, these two continue their battle as this top 5 has broken away from Alex Marinelli, who's starting to get into no man's land.
And, if anyone, I'd rather be Alex Marinelli right now because there's no one around you. You can run your own race. You may not be the fastest. You can see the leaders. Another caution, you bunch them up. We're right along with the 48. The leaders are getting really feisty as we see the 29 and Kurt Batty try and take an inside line, can't quite make it stick. He's going to lose a little bit of time to the 41 of Marinelli, or I'm sorry, Ercolani there in the 41 machine. So these guys battling hard with 56 laps in the book. So we are just over halfway here at New Smyrna Speedway.
Yeah, this has been fun to watch up front as these three stacked up on top of each other. Something happens, Peyton Hill's going to be there, and if something happens to Peyton Hill, Dickerman's going to be there. So we got to watch out for all 5 of these drivers here as they're stacked up. Eckerlani taking a little bit of a look there on the inside. It's going to let Batty push through the center of the corner up on the back bumper. But Ronald Cole, Batty has a little bit of a run here. He may take a look here. Doesn't do it this time, but he is definitely putting the pressure on that 9 here as we've just gotten past halfway 8 laps ago. It's go time here for this 29 as he looks to the inside. The 9 going to look to cover it off. It's getting a little bit hectic up here up front, Carl.
Hectic indeed, and right now, caution, the 58, Johnny Hurst, spun around on the backstretch. So these guys, as action was picking up, another caution is going to rack them back up. But over halfway, Zach, tires, smoke them if you got them.
Yeah, I mean, that's I'm looking at it as these guys are going to be probably looking to do something there. That's going to be the question. Look at it. Here it is. Our question is answered. Cole comes down. The 29 comes down. The 41. The 48, though, he felt confident. He said, you know what? We were running pretty much similar times to what we were running even before that last caution. And even looking at it, yeah, I mean, he was running an 18 flat to a 1790 there for pretty much every single lap. So tires do seem to plateau once they get to that point. It's just, can you hold this group off? That's going to be the big question I think he's got to ask himself. But he's going to have a few takers here with him, as that's going to be Hoggett and also Barbary and Piet there. All 4 going to stay out with him. Looks like, actually, Hoggett's going to come down, sorry.
He made a last-second decision, Zach. Not your fault. I saw just as he was coming in. But there's only about 9 cars on the lead lap, and we saw the 48 and 41 kind of make their way early on after an incident and get through the field. So it might not be too much of an advantage with those new tires, but they do at least have 60 laps on those tires, 61 laps. So that far of a run on these tires may have plateaued, but tires on the 48 aren't going to get any better. So he can only hope that he can hold on to that lead long enough to make it last.
Yeah, the question is, does he want to wait to take that tire set there? Is got 2 here tonight, so you only have 1 in pit road. So it's the question of when do you want to take that set, or do you even want to take it? So right now, he's elected not to take any tires yet on that 48 machine, along with, I believe, Frank Barbary there. Also, I don't believe he's taken tires, and John Piet. So we got those top 3 up front not yet to take tires, and we'll see how they play out the rest of this night. And the benefit is going to be here is the first 10 to 15 laps, really. Those tires, from what I'm looking at lap time-wise, in the first 10 laps, you are quicker than an older set of tires. But after that point, it does start to even out. The times seem to be anywhere from a 1790 to a 18.1. Just depends how you hit the lap. So we'll see how this shapes up. Peyton Hill might have played the strategy right, but Ronald Cole, he's going to be looking to charge right back to the lead, along with Eckerlani and Batty, who lost the position to Eckerlani. So Eckerlani up 1 position technically to the people he was racing.
And right behind the 48 is the 5 of John Piet on those older tires with the 26 of Frank Barbary. But 9 in the outside second row has those fresh tires. The 48 waiting for the restart to the latest possible moment and then launches. He really waited to get on that throttle. That bunched up the field. Oh, looks like the 9 is going to go spin around into turn 1. And we're going to have another caution. Ooh. The 9 machine, Ronald Cole, making a error there on those Cole tires and just didn't quite get him warmed up before he launched.
Yeah, that is tough to see there for the 9 machine, who is having such a great run here tonight. And just kind of similar to what we see with the 41 Eckerline, except down into 1 and 2. And just a little bit of a lazy, loose spin there. And it's definitely coming from these colder tires. These guys got to be patient on that early part of the run, but you want to also use that tire to get positions because you know how hard it is to pass later in the run. So it's one of those things as a driver, you're stuck in a weird predicament where you have to pick between over pushing the car and possibly doing what the 9 did there, or giving up spots to other drivers who are going to take that chance.
and it's all to the calls you got to make, all the spot-on strategy. And ladies and gentlemen, you can try this all out for yourself, and if you do, don't forget to make a visit to Advanced Sim Racing. They were founded in 2020 and are the fastest growing North American racing chassis manufacturer in the in the U.S. or in North America. They are owned and operated by passionate sim racers. They design and build the sturdiest, most durable racing simulation cockpits available. We love having them as a sponsor here at Freaky Fast Broadcasting Advanced Sim Racing. Go look them up. Use the discount code FreakyFast5, all spelled out, to get 5% off your order. But Zach, yeah, it's all to the benefit of the strategy call you make, especially later in the run. And right now, with Ronald Cole just kind of launching off those cold tires, making an incident, but a 48 so far. No passes were made, and he had a really delayed restart. I don't know if that's going to be maybe questioned later on. We're used to Ronald Cole and Ercolani just launching when they're able to, but he really waited before he got into the throttle there.
Yeah, he really did. He was patient with it, so I'm interested to see how that works out for him there. It's going to be fun to watch this restart here as the lights are still on this pace lap here, so might as well give us some more time here to give a shout out to some of our newest sponsors, as we've had 2 new ones come on pretty recently. And first, let's give a shout out to Admin Box. That's right, Admin Box with 2 X's. It's race control at your fingertips. Admin Box is built by iRacers for iRacers. The goal is to make race control as easy as possible, and each admin box connects via USB with pre-programmed commands for race control, driver functionalities, and pit options. They have LED backlighting that makes the buttons highly visible, and it's also in a desk-mounted enclosure, so it's definitely easily put on your desk. So make sure you go to adminbox.com. That's adminbox with 2 X's. You use FFB/box to get that discount there. So make sure you head on over and get yourself race control at your fingertips, as looks like we're about to go back racing here, Carl.
Back racing indeed. Frank Barbary back on the outside, but instead of the 9, that's the 41, and here we are, green flag. Peyton Hill did not have any patience on that rear start. He wanted to go, and he went, launching great on that green flag. Ercolani caught there in that outside line next to the 5 of John Piet on those older tires. And look at that, Ercolani struggling to make a pass on the 5.
Yeah, the 5 there, able to make the pass up past Ercolani now as Piet holds on to the 3rd position. Those new tires not firing off as quickly as I would have thought here, as now the 41 going to look to the inside of the 5, but the 5 dives it to the inside, to the outside there for that 3rd position. And he's going to try to hold steady here, as this is definitely helping that case for the 48 to be able to hold on to this, as the 41 just fighting tooth and nail here to get by this 5.
He is fighting hard and not having much to show it. Zach, it's actually a really cool, calm night here at New Smyrna. It looks like 71-degree air temp, 74 track temp. It's actually a really cool, calm night. The tires not able to fire, but as we see the weather pop up, 62% humidity, it's almost like a perfect night for racing here for the Maple Ridge Racing Series. But right now, the 5 of John Piet, those old tires not being able to keep at bay the 41 or the 29 much longer. It looks like Jonathan Dickman in the 13 is going to try and take advantage as well.
Ooh, that was very, very close into 1, and now down the inside into 3 and 4. Looks like Marinelli's going to try to follow as we look back here. The 5 just trying to hold on the older set of tires, but just cannot do it. As now this will be Marinelli in the 54 going to the inside there, trying to make it for the 6th position, as now Dickman drives away in that top 5 spot.
And Marinelli making that pass really easy on the 5. The rest of these guys, the 8-8 of Hoggett, and it looks like the 6 of Brian Treadwell now on the lead lap. Again, trying to make the pass on that as well, and they were able to take tires. So these guys doing the best they can to try and get those positions from some old tires. But back at the front, the 41 of Ercolani made a pass on the 29 of Kurt Batty, and is on the bumper of the 26 of Frank Barbary. The 41 trying to get those old tires, or those new tires, to fire off really well. And you see them bounce off that apron. It's like you mentioned it, if you're trying to get it loose, just to help turn it better, hit that apron, and that's what these guys are doing.
Yeah, I tell you, it's an interesting way to go about it. You know, that's very useful for drivers to use the racetrack. and you're seeing it there, more of it. And there's even rubber laying down on that part of the racetrack, so you're showing that a lot of people really want to use that area. Barbary doing a great job here, just trying to hang on for everything, but it's just going to be so hard to hold off those older tires. It's a little bit loose in there on the outer groove. They're actually going to make a little contact for that second position as Ekrelani holds on to it. It's a battle for second place here as Peyton Hill loving what he sees out the mirror. He's hoping that 26 can just hold on for a little bit longer to hold that 41 up for his progress.
And looking at it now, the 29 of Kurt Batty gonna follow the 41 trail there and try and take that inside line, but can't quite keep the pedal down out of the corner of turn 4. He's gonna try it again, and we are side by side. Frank Barbary now losing. Ooh, they are gonna bounce off each other just a little bit, but showing that those tires are beginning to fall off with the 41 on the march to the leader right now as we speak. The 41 putting in some really hot lap times.
Yeah, these are some really good lap times for that 41 machine as they're watching the 26 still try to hold that 13. This 41 here, as we look up to him, he is closing the gap down. It was 2/10 last time by. This time it was a 1770 from our leader to a 1763. So about 700ths of a second. There's a little bit of a slide there coming off the corner. I think Peyton Hill was trying to save a little bit out front here and hang on to this car, but he's going to have to use everything in his back pocket now if he wants to be able to hold off this 41. And this is starting to be deja vu a little bit for this 48. He does not want to slide back to second. He wants to go out and get that victory.
Get that victory indeed, but he has to hold on for 17 laps. We are now 85 laps on 85 laps into this race, and the 41 is there now, ladies and gentlemen. Here we go. It's like you said, deja vu. These past couple of weeks, these two guys have been duking it out at the front of the pack, and here we are again at New Smyrna Speedway, duking it out for the lead. 15 laps to go, Zach. These guys doing all that they can, but Peyton Hill is not going to give that up. He's going to make that pass as hard as he can for the 41.
Oh, the 41 up into the wall now, looks to the inside here as they come through 3 and 4. It's going to be 14 laps to go when they cross the line. A little bit of a run there from the 41. Is he going to take a look? He can't get there yet. The 48 closes the door, but the 41 with a little bit wider arc here, going to try to come off of turn 2 with the run. Not able to get there again as Peyton Hill holding strong here. Is going to be coming to 13 to go this time, Carl.
To go, and less time is not good for either of these drivers. Kurt Batty, the past couple times around, has put in the fastest lap. So Ercolani kind of getting held up here by the 48. He can't quite make them move, and that's just helping Kurt Batty there in that third position get ever closer to the group of leaders here out front. But Ercolani is doing everything he can, putting every trick in the book, trying to get that position, and Peyton Hill not having any of it, defending left and right here at the later stages of this race. Down the back straightaway into 3, 12 to go.
And into 3 is where I worry. Peyton Hill looking a little bit loose on entry. Lost the rear twice in a row now down into that entry. He's going to have to watch out for that. Can't let that happen too many times. Don't want to give that 41 too many chances, as now the 41 having a little bit of trouble behind him here. Again, up the racetrack a little bit for the 48. Cuts it down across the nose of this 41. The 41 has a decent run here. Can't get to that inside yet as it's 10 to go here, Carl. He may get a little bit aggressive very soon here because that 29 is filled up his mirror also. This is going to be a 3-way battle here coming to 9 to go.
And here we see it, the 41 just can't quite get the throttle down on corner exit. The 48 kind of able to assist in that defense on his because he can. He's not being able to spin the tires. We saw during the last run, the 48 gets a little loose there, but we saw in that last run, Zach, the 41 machine was kind of getting squirrely towards the end and having troubles keeping that car underneath him, and maybe we're seeing that again, just a little too aggressive on the throttle.
And I tell you what, the tires are going away here. 8 laps to go. The rear end stepping away from the 48 again. Too hard into the entry. He's just sliding the rear, and Ekreline's doing a good job of pressuring him into it. Just taking little looks to the inside, making that 48 have to dive the entry to cover off that inside in case that 41 decides to dive it up the inside. Here comes the run, though. That was the time he set it up. 7 to go. Looking to the inside, but the 48 covers it off. Great defensive driving for the 48, but you got to imagine the offense is going to come for the 41 here at some point. 6 laps to go here at New Smyrna.
6 laps to go. And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, don't go anywhere after the checkered flag is waved, because we will be interviewing our top 3 finishers of this race. And who knows who it will be with coming on 5 laps to go. Oh, the 41 gets super loose on corner exit there on 4, and he is going to save it, but he is going to lose a position to Kurt Batty. So just like that, ladies and gentlemen, it changes. The whole field almost changes. That was a miraculous save on the part of Ercolani.
What a save, Carl, like you said there, but 4 laps to go for glory. It's the 48 out front for Peyton Hill with Kurt Batty there in the 29 on pole position here. Has not been on the close it down. Coming to 3 to go. The only thing that Peyton Hill wants to see is that flag man throw a white flag and not any type of yellow flag here. It's 3 to go. Going to be coming to 2 to go here very quickly.
And these laps have just ticked away, Zach, and that's almost a collective sigh of relief from the 48 and their fans, with the 41 pushing it a little too hard, getting a little loose, but there we are. 2 to go here for the Maple Ridge Racing Series. Last race before the championship race next weekend, Zach. So these guys putting it all on the line.
All on the line here as they go through the penultimate time of 3 and 4. Batty not closing the gap down as they're going to take the white flag here.
White flag, freaky fast white flag, 1 to go here at the Maple Ridge Racing Series race at New Smyrna Speedway. We have had a magnificent battle here at the closing stages of this race. The 48 has been able to hold off the charge from the 41 of Ercolani. The 48 of Peyton Hill is finally going to take that checkered flag here for the Maple Ridge Racing Series. We have talked to him these past couple of weeks, Zach, and he has been definitely disappointed with second place finishes. Well, it is second place no more. The 48 taking that checkered flag.
This is what you love to see. The driver has been so consistent, so strong, came up close so many times, not able to get it done majority of those times, but here tonight, the 48 of Peyton Hill, it's going to be all glory for him as in this second to last race of the season. He's going to win it. This is going to set him up well heading into Richmond next week. We can't wait to see how that plays out, but Carl, man, I just can't say enough congratulations to the 48.
Congratulations to Peyton Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you go anywhere. We will be right back to interview the top 3 finishers, and that will include the winner of tonight's race. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. and welcome back, race fans. You just saw some awesome, exciting racing. Not with who you would have expected in the top three, but here we are. We're going to talk to our third place finisher, Mario Ercolani. Mario, it's Carl and Zach in the booth. Take us through the end of that run and that kind of fishtail you did down the front straightaway to kind of lose the momentum to the 48.
Yeah, man, that was honestly that was the best race of the season. Even though I finished where I did, that was quite a finish. I was trying to do all I could to get by Peyton, and I lost my momentum, and it cost me there.
Yeah, very unfortunate that it cost you, but like you said, Mario, that was definitely up there for race of the season coming down to the end. And you had the fresher tires. You were putting the pressure on there. It seemed like 3 was his spot where he was losing the rear end there on entry. Was that kind of where you were trying to set him up? Because man, it seemed like a few times you almost had that set up perfect.
Yeah, that's what I was going for it right there, and I just couldn't do it without hitting him, and I weren't going to hit him. He's raced me clean all season, and he's a good driver, man. He's learned a lot, and I'm pretty proud of them guys tonight.
Well, it was fun to watch. Richmond next week, Mario championship race. What can we expect from you?
Hopefully, some speed. Now that's going to be a tough one, man. It's going to be a good group of us running for that championship, and it's going to be a good race with Peyton. And I don't know who else made it. I'm pretty sure it's Peyton and I, but I'm not sure who the third guy is. But it's going to be a hell of a race, man. We should put on a good show.
Well, I can guarantee we are looking forward to it up here in the booth. Before we let you go, anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, you guys, as always, man, you put on a great show. Alex and Maple Ridge, Elite Performance Industries, and mostly I want to congratulate Peyton on the win tonight.
Well, thank you, sir. Congratulations on third place. We look forward to seeing you next week.
10-4. Thanks, guys.
That was third place finisher Mario Ercolani. We don't normally see that, but here's our second place finisher, Kurt Batty. Kurt, you had a fast car all night long, scoring the pole position. Take us through those final couple of laps and the 41 kind of losing it in front of you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, whatever it was, right? We pitted, and then yeah, basically, I mean, I leaned on Mario to definitely get me through the field. I just have such a hard time passing on the inside here, so he got me up there, and then yeah, we both knew that Peyton had older tires, so technically maybe we had more speed than him, but just not enough to get around on the inside. It's tricky on the inside, so and Peyton just did a great job at just leading, really. So yeah.
Yeah, Kurt, I tell you, a great finish for you, man. Here to bring home second tonight, and so congrats on that. But man, that decision to come down pit road, take us through that, because that's got to be always a tough call, because we see Peyton, he decided to do the opposite. It worked out for him, but it definitely wasn't easy. It looked like new tires definitely worked, but like you said, passing was tough. So kind of take us through that decision there to pit when you did.
Yeah, basically, 2 weeks ago, I was in the lead with, I don't know, I think maybe 20 laps to go, and I chose to stay out, and I got freight trained. So it was actually a pretty easy decision for me to take tires, and plus, Cole was ahead of me, so he took tires, and then I saw Mario going in, so it just kind of made sense to stick with those guys, and yeah, I'm happy with the second, so it worked.
It worked indeed. Championship race next week at Richmond, Kurt. You can expect to talk to you again.
Ooh, that we will have to see. There's no promises there, that's for sure.
Well, congratulations on the second place finish. Anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Just Risen Graphics and B&B Backyards for the sponsorship on the car, and yeah, just the league. This has been an awesome league. So anyone watching, and feel free to reach out to Alex, I'm sure, and I'm sure he'll vent you through it. But yeah, it's a fantastic league. So just wanna thank Alex and everyone in here who makes it happen, and especially you guys.
Well, we appreciate that, Kurt. Congratulations. Good luck next week.
Thanks so much.
And that was second place, Kurt Batty. But here's the moment you've all been waiting for, race fans. Peyton Hill. Peyton, you have struggled in and out, week in, week out. A couple of second place finishes. Here you are winning this race. Take us through those last couple of laps as you saw the 41 burning up your bumper.
Yeah, what a scary sight to see. Of all the people that could be on your bumper coming to the final laps, it's freaking Mario. He's the most terrifying person to see behind me, especially when he has fresher tires than I did. I went down lap 3 to fix damage, use the fast repair, and of course I got involved into something else. And I knew right then that I have to do something kind of drastic if I want a chance at the championship. Um, Last season, I ran to get into the final spots of the championship, but I wasn't focusing on the championship at stake, and I knew that that was where I kind of had a downfall last season. So I needed to do something, and what a better place to get a first win than in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely a popular one, Peyton, man. So congrats, first off. It was awesome to call that ending there. But, man, the pressure, like you said, to have Mario behind you there coming down to the end, it looked like turn 3 was the trouble spot. You just getting into there, it looked like that's where you were definitely having some moments. Take us through it, because it looked like a few times you got a little bit crossed up, but you held on to that thing. You definitely had to be some nervous moments there holding on to that lead.
Well, like I said last week, when coming in second to Mario, and I said I got to do more practice, and that's what I did this week. And one of the things that I noticed was if I save my tires enough, the tires start to even out a little bit. So I knew that if I started pushing a little bit harder towards the last laps, it wasn't going to hurt me in the long run, especially because I knew that Mario was going to burn up a little bit of tire trying to get around everyone. And I knew track position is huge because back at Dover, I couldn't get around Josh in the final laps, and man, I needed this. So hanging on to it, coming out of a corner was everything. I was putting everything I got to keep myself in front of Mario.
Well, it put on a spectacular show for everyone watching. Next week, championship race, Richmond Raceway. What do you got for the field coming up to your last race of the season?
Well, Richmond's not necessarily my favorite track when it comes to the actual NASCAR Cup Series. But what I've noticed in this series is that these cars drive a little bit different. And any track that has had a Cup Series race, it means that that track's pretty big for these cars. And hopefully we can come out on top again. That would be awesome.
That would be great indeed. Before we let you go, sir, anyone you want to give a shout out to tonight?
Yeah, first and foremost, I got to give a shout out to all the teams that I'm a part of. Hijinks Esports, Norco College Esports. They've been supporting me hardcore through this whole season, and they've actually been cheering for me. They've been wanting this win just as much as I have. And EPI, man, just in the few weeks that I've been on their development program, I have gained so much knowledge in just little things. I also got to thank my grandparents out in Oregon. Man, I was talking to my grandpa last week, and he was saying how he was wanting that win just as bad as I did, and I'm glad to finally get it. Got to shout out my auntie. She's been supporting me and sending it to sending it to everyone in the family, all the family and friends, and you guys, as well as Alex, who's putting on this league. And yeah.
Well, we definitely appreciate that, and congratulations to you and all your fans. Peyton, you're finally a winner here at the Maple Ridge Racing Series. Congratulations. Hope to see you next week.
Yeah, I'm glad we finally got it. On to next week.
And you heard him, ladies and gentlemen. On to next week, Richmond Raceway. That is the last week of the championship. Before we get there, we got to cap off what we saw here tonight. Like you saw there, Peyton Hill taking that first position, starting third. Kurt Batty there in second. Mario Ercolani with the rare third place finish. Jonathan Dickerman there in fourth. And Frank Barbary was able to make those older tires hold on for a fifth place finish. So a lot of these guys racing really hard. Ronald Cole there in the bottom, 19 laps down, 11th place, didn't finish the race, had an incident after that pit stop and getting those tires back. So Definitely some wild racing here at New Smyrna. The championship next weekend. All these drivers are going to be racing for a championship. Those who have advanced from the playoffs. Zach, what do you think we can look forward to with that championship race?
Yeah, I'm excited for that one because first off, like kind of Peyton was explaining, it's Richmond, so a bigger track, a little bit more off the wall for these cars, and I tell you, it's going to be a very, very fun race. Richmond is one of my favorite tracks. It's always known to put on a great show. So these championship guys are going to have a great battle. We'll have to find out who that third one is. As it's Peyton Hill and Mario Eckerlani at the moment. We know they'll be battling, so we'll see who's joining them for a battle for that championship. But I tell you, Carl, I can't wait to get off to Richmond, man. It's been fun to watch these cars throughout each and every track this season. This race here tonight was really fun. I mean, just a great overall story behind it too, of Peyton Hill and Mario Ercolani battling down to the end. That could possibly be the battle for the championship next week. So we could have got a little bit of a preview tonight, but I tell you, I'm still very excited for that Richmond Raceway. It's going to put on one heck of a show, no doubt indeed.
It always does, and they always claims it's a short track that runs like a super speedway. So we'll see what kind of super speedway action it produces at that 3/4 mile track at Richmond next week. Ladies and gentlemen, don't forget, you won't forget if you subscribe, hit the like button, share, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, you know it. You love us, share us, get the word out. You love the racing that we saw, especially a first-time winner in Peyton Hill. So don't forget to share all that. Everyone stay safe, hug your loved ones, and above all, until next time, keep it freaky fast.